The prosecution in the trial of the man accused of killing American sniper Chris Kyle is expected to wrap up its case today. Yesterday, jurors heard the defendant, Eddie Ray Routh, confess on video to shooting and killing Kyle and his friend, Chad Littlefield, back in 2013. It happened as all three men were visiting a shooting range to provide support for Routh, who was reportedly dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. Defense attorneys have said that it was Routh's PTSD that sparked that attack, but prosecutors say he was a troubled drug user who knew right from wrong. So, Dr. Abloh, I'll start with you. What exactly is PTSD, and do you think it applies here?
All right, so I'm a forensic psychiatrist, so this is what I do with part of my time. I testify in cases not unlike this. So PTSD, the hallmark of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, is number one, you've been exposed to a horrific stress, and that you have intrusive memories of that event, and that you might do a lot to try to avoid those memories, to try to suppress it. But also, it's the overreaction to stimuli in the environment, to things that happen that remind you of that event. So you have this guy surrounded by firearms who could lose track of reality. The question's going to be, in most states, the question is, did you know right from wrong? Okay, that, if you don't know right from wrong, it could be that you qualify for an insanity plea. Or if you knew right from wrong, even knowing it, were you unable to conform your behavior to the requirements of the law? So if this man believed that the people with him, including Chris Kyle, were enemy combatants, or that they were posturing in a way that signified that they were going to attack him, that could be the basis of an insanity defense, but they'd have to show records showing that this has been a series of symptoms that have plagued him for years, for which he sought treatment. And that's usually still not enough, because the truth is juries are really loath to extend the insanity defense and rubber stamp that for clients. It's very tough.
Especially in this case, because he never left the base. He was deployed, but he never left the base, never was fighting on the front lines with the other soldiers. So I'm not sure how he can say PTSD.
That's what I'm afraid of. You know, we both have kids, and when kids misbehave in the classroom, it's almost like instantly they go, oh, they must have ADD or ADHD. Is this sort of like bad behavior, just we're just instantly going to PTSD? I mean, do you see what I'm saying?
You know, it's all a case of, you know, what are the real symptoms and what's on record, because there are people, after all, who are so hobbled by post-traumatic stress disorder that for all intents and purposes they are not in our shared reality at certain times. And for those folks, you'd hate to hold them responsible when, in fact, it's a war-related injury that they literally can't control. Is he that person? I haven't examined his records. I don't know. Is it conceivable? Sure, it's conceivable.
They're bringing up doubt for some of the accounts that he had when he was in the Marines, when he was fighting overseas, and also when he was helping out as a peacekeeper in Haiti. And, you know, he claimed that he interacted with, you know, dead children and dead bodies. He shot a child in Iraq. And there are people coming out now saying, no, all of that is untrue. That's factually incorrect. And he was actually trying to game the system, rather, in order to receive more benefits. And
that would go much more along with his character being disordered, 100%. Which might go along with the drug use and him trying to game this system,
and being
the
a bad
judicial
person.
system.
And there's a big difference, because PTSD doesn't mean, you know, if you have a mental illness, certainly that doesn't presuppose that you are insane. You know,
no, certainly not. I mean, you can be depressed, you can even be psychotic, and yet know right from wrong and abide by the law. The vast majority of people with those conditions do. There is a subset who will commit crimes while under the influence of those symptoms, who can do very complex things, but are still doing them for delusional reasons.
Dr. Abloh, does it say anything, because you said that he could be making up things that he did in his past, sort of the Brian Williams disease. Does that speak to the fact that he's not insane because he's making calculated lies based on his past?
It wouldn't do anything to support his position if in the past he has confabulated and strategized, because that would erode people's sense. Here's a helpless guy who is all generally good inside, but he's commandeered by symptoms. You can't be commandeered by symptoms and at the same time be trying to game the system. It's like...
Do you think the defense, very quickly, do you think the defense then chose the wrong plea?
What else would you plea?
Not PTSD, maybe
right.
insanity.
Insanity.
Or,
No,
that
they have three choices. It's either capital murder, not guilty, or not guilty by reason of insanity.
Yes, and so they've picked the third, and we'll see whether the man's acquitted.
He can still be committed under Texas law if he is found not guilty by reason of insanity.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kennedy. Well, the storm, it's been coating much of the South and the East Coast. Just stopped snowing here in New York. Snow and ice since yesterday, and it's slowly moving offshore, so that's good news. But guess what? Guess what's right behind it? Another blast of Arctic air. I'm sorry, Boston. The latest forecast coming up. And having trouble reading whether your date is interested in being more than friends. What science is now saying about those mixed signals that men and women send each other.